all the others. I mean, maybe the thing she's attached to is supposed to look like a skull? Ouch, that hurt. But overall, I just think her design is really weird and not in line with the whole Genova theme. She has a cool soundtrack though, I really like the music. But yeah, I mean, she had to be down here. Of course, she's keeping an eye out for her son. And after all, this is the crater where Genova initially came down to the planet. So it shouldn't be surprising that there's why are my people poisoning me? What? I don't have any elemental thingies equipped. Must be part of the ribbon. Cloud and Barret are wearing ribbons, and Sid is just wearing a safety bit, which protects against most of the lethal status effects. But yeah, this boss fight is really nothing special, except for the soundtrack maybe. It's just these two arms, and they hit you a bit with it, and oh my god, stop, really? And it hit. Let's just see if we can heal stop with a white wind. That would be nice. Barret get a doubling as our healer here because he's in the back row, and with the white wind because he's in the back row he takes less damage, and with the white wind he can use that to heal more. Which would make him a prime candidate if you have one Cedric from, I don't know, one root encounter where you managed to steal from him. It's a good idea to put this on the one character that just cannot die. Like Barret, back row, Cedric, he'll take like even half the damage he takes now. Kinda tempted to let that countdown run through. Yep, I'll not do that. I think it's an Ultima spell. But I kinda wanna show you what happens when our countdown finishes, so I'm just gonna let it go. Yep, it's Ultima. Well, lady, bring it on. Show me what you got. Well, that's... Oh! And she's dying with it. Or was the counter that killed her? Well, it was 6,000 damage without barrier. I dare say that's a very solid, that's a solid thing. But it's just the first fight. We need to go deeper. And this was years before Inception. And we can hear the cries of the planet. Again. And the text is scrolling automatically, so if it's too quick for you, you need to pause. Oh. Somehow everyone is here. And that background is really trippy. I think this is one scene where you can really see parallels to common anime boss battles with the final enemy appearing, completely overpowering the heroes, and then the heroes struggling to get their footing back, and we'll see. If you imagine this as a scene in an anime, it makes much more sense, because in a game like this, without seeing actual numbers and stuff, I don't know, it's not able to deliver the same feeling, the same sense of dread and how threatening Sephiroth really is down there, or how threatening I imagine him to be down there. I mean, he has absorbed large amounts of the planet's energy at this point, so he can probably cast spells, any spells he imagines really, and make people spin. And that's what we're going against. With what, you might ask? Well, Holy for once, and of course, the power of Aerith, the power of friendship, the power of love. You know the drill. Also a very nice thingy here. Oh no, wait. Please make a party of 3. Okay, I can do that. Give me a sit. More drugs, I guess? And yeah, okay, we know they are set up properly. Wait a second. Some things... What? Did I miss something? Okay, this is... This is not how I remember this fight to be. I'm completely awestruck at this point. Because usually you compose... Okay, wait. Okay, wait, okay, pause. I need to explain this. The last time I played this battle, with this exactly same emulator and game version, I fucked up the recording. So this is not the first time I'm recording this. And back then, the battle went as I remembered it to go. We were forming 2 parties of 3, and each of the parties, and we could switch between each party. And I don't really remember what the switching did, but yeah, you could try to nuke with more spells and use less healing items, because you could switch the party and use their MP as well. Like, it was just a gimmick, really, with the switching of the 2 parties, which battled the boss, one on the left, one on the right. As you can see, we do not have 2 parties here. I can only assume that this is because Genova Synthesis killed herself with Ultima instead of just... instead of being killed by us. But I really didn't know that there was a special case there. Also, you can see. Okay, back to the explaining. Ow, that hurt. So yeah, apparently you need to kill Genoa Synthesis yourself if you want to do the group switchy thingy. But on the other hand, you don't really need it. Throughout the whole game, you have one strong party, and at this point, you will have 3 good, well-leveled characters and 5 characters who are not really that well-leveled. So your second team will usually be inferior, or you will have to split your strength between the two. And it's just a very, very, very awkward setup for most people. So fighting like this, with even if you have the option to use 2 teams, usually you just say, all my good characters on one side, and they just do the whole fight. Meanwhile, as you can see, this boss has lots of skills and lots of things he's doing. This spell looks like it's hurt, but it doesn't. And he has lots of different parts. We have C, which is the belly, and I think the belly doesn't take any damage. Then we have the head, I think it is, who does the healing all the time. So we kind of want to keep the head down. And the arms do the bolt and quake spells. Yeah, that's what I remembered. Whoop. So area spells are the best thing you can do in this fight. On the other hand, multi-hit spells like Combat 2 are at a disadvantage because some of the random spells, Catastrophe has the same problem by the way, some of the hits will go onto the belly because it's still a viable target. And hits against the belly, of course, don't deal damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 or 4 hits on the belly, which is still a rather good overall result. Okay, now the different body parts are dying, and yeah, so the head is the part that dies the most quickly, because it has like 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 HP at maximum. Oh, I forgot that I have double magic. Whoops. I'm not used to that. Whatever. So yeah, in this fight, the head will be revived after a certain while. The arms, I think, stay dead. And apparently he can still heal himself, even when the head is dead. So you just need to go through that healing somehow. Just need to have superior attack power, which is actually quite the biggest challenge here. His attacks are okay, but his constant healing for 6,000 damage. Our basic attacks are barely enough to go against that. So if you can, Pandora's Box, any of the area enemy skills, or Ultima if you can. Now double magic is of course really badly placed on Cloud, because Cloud doesn't have a good spell against them. Magic Breath, I guess. And just to show you how, if you miss all the optional spells like Ultima and everything, I will still show you normal level 3 spells and how strong they are. So I have Ultima with 4k damage. I think Pandora's Box is deals similar damage, but costs 20 MP less. Shadow Flame is again 10% 10 MP cheaper with just 100, but only hits a single target. So you should only use Shadow Flame when you want to focus the body. The Magic Breath from the Glacier, as you can see, 3.5k damage for 75 MP, which is, I think, when it comes to cost to damage per MP, one of the top options so far. We could try the beta. I think he just removed our haste. But yeah, you see, with just auto hits, we can just deal a little bit more damage than he heals, if any. 2.5 for 35. If you need to save your MP, you can use the spells here, like beta. The level 3 spells, however, ouch. Really not that astonishing, which just gets to show how good beta really is. Pandora's box, and yeah, we will. At this state, we have to cast our spells because we can't kill him with just auto hits and patience. It doesn't work. We are not strong enough. Of course, with our 90 characters, we would just use a quadruple hit, a little bit of luck, and 10,000 damage per strike, and he would be down in 2 or 3 battle rounds, combat rounds. And that would be boring. Talking about... But... Okay, the core died somehow. I don't know how. I didn't recall that we dealt any damage to him. But he's dead. And I won't complain, because that means that we can use Comet 2 now. That's me flickering the target icon. But yeah, as you can see, Pandora's box really just a cheaper Ultima. So it's not that bad if you miss it, because you can just use Ultima instead. Or in this case, because it doesn't have the Elemental Absorb, you can even use Magic Breath in turn. And yeah, against a single target, as you can see, Comet deals around 5,000 damage and is our strongest spell. Yeah, come on. And he still has new attacks that we haven't seen before. That one's most likely to be his standard attack, because it doesn't have an announcement, and also just... I think it's also one of the only things you can counter. No, head revived. Okay, let's do the head first. I know what, actually just bomb it. I think at this point we could just bomb it, because the core is down, and that's really a big help with all the... with Comet 2. Which sadly is also a very expensive spell. Yep. So yeah. Can you, please, not revive any body part now? Yeah, it's just... The whole dying process of the different body parts is kinda long for each body part, and I don't exactly know why. And it drags the fight out. But there's nothing much we can do about it. It's just, you gotta deal with it. At least if you have two teams, every time a body part dies, you are prompted if you want to switch to the other team. Because that's the trigger you need to do to switch to the team. So it's even worse in the multi-team fight. So we're actually saving time here by having Genova Synthesis use her Ultima. And here we go! Bizarro Sephiroth down. Let's face it, he might not be the most threatening of enemies. Once his arms are down, you don't have the level 3 spells hitting you for 3k. But he's one sturdy bastard. He's not easy to kill. But he's not the last thing we see of Sephiroth. And this is probably the fight Final Fantasy VII is famous for multiple reasons. The soundtrack being one of them, of course. I mean, even people who don't know the game probably have heard this song somewhere before. One-Winged Angel, for obvious reasons. And yeah, this is Safer Sephiroth. Oh wait, Safer Sephiroth. And yeah, precisely. He's doing the wall, which is the sole reason I have the destruct materia here, because you don't want to have him have a barriers all the time. And different than Bizarro Sephiroth, he does not heal himself, and he does not just stroke your party a little bit here and there. Oh my god, what a tease. Safer Sephiroth deals massive damage. The fact that he uses Shadow Flare, a spell that's only found on Ultima Weapon, other than this, should tell you how threatening he is. I mean, we are currently a double materia combat 2 is the strongest thing we can throw at him. Apart. Okay! Hit it and crit it! I hate you! That happened! Oh, he's rising up. We can't melee him anymore. Kinda worried now. So yeah, you can't melee him anymore, which is kinda sad if you rely on Cloud's auto hits as damage dealing. And it also means that he will soon use his signature attack, which is the second... Did he just silence him? Good lord. His signature attack, which I will just... This is it. This is the second reason the fight is famous. Let me start a stopwatch. This is a normal spell. You can use this multiple times throughout the game. Throughout the fight. And I mean, it's totally in line for him, because the whole plot point around him is him dragging in a floating rock to hit the planet and, well, fuck shit up, basically. So this spell is in line with his theme, Planet Caller Sephiroth and everything. It's also similarly ridiculous in its scale and, yeah, well, if you can call a meteor like that easily, why didn't he do so in the first place? So it does make sense that he can use it, but it doesn't make sense that he uses it or didn't use it before. But then again, it's really cool. I love how Jupiter dies with a ring in the middle. That's really cool. We're also at 55. I started late, probably 1 minute and 10, and we're still not done. Just saying. So I think this is really, apart from Knights of the Round, the longest spell animation in any Final Fantasy game. Knights of the Round might be longer, but I'm not exactly sure if it is. 1:30, by the way. But we're almost done. But then again, I think it's just them showcasing a little bit of their graphics they had back then, because PlayStation 1, it was the first Final Fantasy game for the PlayStation 1, so the whole 3D graphics thingy was all new. And they kinda wanted to show off a little. And they sure as hell did. I mean... And the other problem with this spell is the fact that it hits you for an unknown, very high fraction of your HP. So it's something around... I think, yeah, we're around about 5%, 6% left. And so you can't use White Wind after this, because all your characters have such low HP. And he's following up with Break. He's not kidding around. So you need resistance against Stone, because Break might cause Stone. We've had Silence. And we have these ridiculous amounts of damage. You can't use Barriers against the spell because it's an HP relative attack. I only use the Big Guard to weaken Break and because of the haste effect. Also, another funny thing about the Supernova. If you don't play on the weight ATB like I do, the ATB will continue to run during the spell animation. This also means that the barriers will continue to go down during the spell animation. If you play like that, you cannot have barriers after Supernova, because the animation is too long. Okay, he's coming down again. That's nice. We have survived the Supernova, because, yeah, Angel Whisper or Full Cure, or just spamming heal 3 with Cure 3 with for all. It also works. You just need to know that when he goes up, you always have 2 characters on standby to immediately spam heals as soon as he starts the Supernova. Just so you can be sure. The one thing that this makes this boss somewhat fair... Okay, take out to 9, I don't know. Is the fact that he's not very fast. And I would like my haste back, thank you. So, usually you have time to heal at least 1 or 2 characters after each of his attacks. Like the Supernova you saw, we got 2 characters healed. Oh, we got him down. And he doesn't have as much, he isn't as tanky as Pizarro Sephiroth. So yeah, this fight. If you don't have the healing power that I have with Angel Whisper, it's totally legitimate to be completely defensive in this fight with healing and everything, and just attack with limits. That also works, but it might make you go through 2 or 3 Supernovas until you're done with him. So yeah, then you're in for a long haul. But yeah, we killed Safer Sephiroth. Who's next? Genova Origin maybe? Well, that would kinda cool. That would be kinda cool, wouldn't it? This is the part of the ending sequence, ending arc that I really like. They are emphasizing here that the big threat to usually it's you kill the boss, you save the planet, everything's fine. In Final Fantasy VII they did not use that easy way out. Yes, we have beaten Sephiroth, but the meteor that he called is still there. And it's still gonna hit the planet. So